You know what other people are saying, right? I don't know if I agree with them, especially my red pill brothers. I mean, coincidentally, nobody here is wearing red
Oh, no.
necessarily. I'm not saying that.
Well,
It's a little red around here.
that was a
Flashes of
coincidence.
red.
You know, that's a good point. You know, in fact, I'm the only one that doesn't have. Oh, how ominous this is, right? Because don't. But no, the conversation was around the red pill. Like Jay, a lot of people responded to your remarks as it related to single moms. Right. Yeah, the comments went crazy, right?
Love y'all.
Yeah, you know, if you haven't seen that episode, go back and check it out. Right.
Yes,
and some
classic.
people believe like you're a red piller. I don't know why they would think that. You know,
Yeah.
especially how liberal that you are
Yeah,
with
I
your
am.
views.
Yeah.
But when you bring those two together, right, you hear a lot of conversations from men who've been categorized as red pillars or whatever, who are telling other young men, like Jay did a couple episodes ago, that hey, leave those single moms alone. Right? Now I get it. Some people might say that's practical advice, and some people might say, well, damn, how are we gonna build community if this is the type of time that you are on? Right? So Jay, I feel like it's only fair. What do you say to those people who are like, first of all, right, Black women need love too. Shout out to S&M. Second of all, single mothers need love too as
They
well.
certainly do.
Right? And not him jumping shit.
Right? That's why he's only half red. See him? Okay.
There's
But
bargaining.
more importantly, if you're talking to young men out there, would you steer them in that direction or steer them away from dealing with single moms? And what about that advice you feel like is positive or good for the community at large?
Okay, first I want to say, I think that people got the wrong impression about what I was trying to communicate. Okay, I was not trying to disparage single mothers. I was not trying to say that single mothers don't have value or that they even have less value, okay? Because I was raised by one, right? But what I am saying...
You're friends with some.
And I'm friends with some, right?
You have single mother friends.
I have some as coworkers. You know what I mean?
Some of my best friends are single mothers.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Don't
They're
shoot the
everywhere.
messenger. Matter of fact, you know, ironically, I married two. Not at the same time, although I would have, you know me. But yeah, my second wife, after my first wife passed, she was a single mom. My current wife is a single mom, or was a single mom at the time, or whatever. So that being said, I think I sit in the position to say it is, again, not for everybody. You know what I mean? And as I look upon the landscape of men out there and how men move and how men want to move nowadays, particularly the up and coming class, if you will, there's a lot of me, there's a lot of individuality, there's a lot of making my story, defining my life, my terms. And I'm saying that is not really congruence with a life already in progress, right? With systems already in progress. It's cool if they want to get on board with the way you think it should run, but you got to be prepared with the fact that they might not. Right? Because whatever they've been doing has been working for them. It's nothing against single moms. Y'all are hardworking people. I mean, you're leaders in your own right because you have to be, as we were just talking about. But yet and still, if you're going to be with a single mom, then you have got to have yourself together. She doesn't need another distraction. She doesn't need another baby to raise. She doesn't need another problem to solve. She needs another problem solver. So unless you're willing to take that on, I'm like, yes, young man, you back away. No, sir, that's not for you. Getting with a single mom is grown man-ish. And if you ain't on no grown man-ish, then you don't need to be doing that. Right? If you still want to do whatever, she doesn't have time for that. The kids don't have time for that. And honestly, with the time it's going to take you, you don't have time for that either.
So just to be clear, because I think you slick. You think you slick?
I am.
see you trying to do that.
You did clean that up nicely. You cleaned it up nicely.
You know, I think
You
thought-
cleaned that
I
up
see- I see you.
nicely.
I did. Thank you.
So you're saying that if a 30-year-old man who's on his grown man
shit. Not living. Yes, go ahead.
you would advise him to be open to dating a single mom.
I am a 30-year-old man who wants to raise kids and who likes children. Okay? And good. Because I'm saying, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It ain't for everybody. You got to meet a criteria. You got to have some qualifications to get
Sir,
up in
this is
there.
a simple question, sir.
He's going all the extra caveats.
A lot of
Yes,
qualifiers.
a
All the
30-year-old
caveats.
man, I think it needs qualifications. And my whole point to you people is you need qualifications to do this. But a 30-year-old man with his stuff together, yes, he can get with a single mom.
Okay. So you wouldn't advocate against that?
I would not say flat-footed that he should not do it.
See caveats.
See footnotes.
So not saying that you represent the red pill community, but there are people in that community who would tell brothers, no, don't do it. Like, I mean, are you on that type of time? How do you feel about it?
and I can even take the older guys out of it. At that point, who cares? But like you said, a young man in his 30s, he's getting his career rocking and rolling. That's not helpful. I mean, I can even use myself for example. I was fresh out of college, just graduated, met an awesome chick. I'm like, but you're 25 with 2 kids. What am I gonna do? I can't. That's just not for me. I mean, I wish you the best. I can't take that on. That's just not. That's not a good situation for me to be in. And the big issue that a lot of guys have with the single moms is because not all single mothers are created equally. I'm going to even take divorced women with children out of it. Women who got kids without the benefit of marriage at any point, typically they have higher standards for you, the new guy coming in who's kept himself and built himself up, than the guy that had kids with. I'm like, I have to meet all of these pre-qualifiers, but the guy you had kids with, he's got a 8th grade reading level. I'm like, what do we, or whatever the average is. He counts with his fingers. I'm like, that's like that.
He's chicken nuggets.
Yeah, he still eats dino nuggets. It's like,
He eats dino nuggets.
yeah, that says more about you than it does about me. And Nick brought up earlier, it's about leverage. You have the leverage to say no. That's the point of building yourself up as a man. I don't have to. I'm going to say no, ma'am, and I wish you the best because I have leverage.
And standards even.
And
Wow,
standards.
that's crazy. And I'm going to say why it's crazy. I'm not saying the standards is crazy, but the fact that you literally just said because she decided to hold the next person to a higher standard, also called lesson learned and vetting. So you're penalizing her for learning her lessons. And then for vetting you, you're adding in, well, he wasn't like that. So if he was a no good person, I was going to use another word, but if he was a no good person, you're saying you should be okay with me being a no good person too. Don't hold me to a higher standard, but at the same time, we tell women, oh, you need to vet better. You need to make better choices. But when that woman chooses to make those better choices, then you tell her, well, you didn't say that dude that way. You ain't look at that dude that way. So why are you holding me now to a higher standard? So what it sounds like to me is that you want the cookies, but at the same time, you don't want to hold yourself accountable to wherever the relationship may go or the standards that she set. But that's not even my issue. My issue with the whole red pill single mother conversation is that they completely ignore the absent father in some cases. Now, I'm not saying in all cases the father is absent, but they completely ignore it because if the red pill community really cared about the single mother so-called epidemic, then they will also speak on the fathers that are absent too. They will also speak on his role. They will actually have to hold that man accountable as well. But they don't, because they did. The whole premise would collapse.
The community does speak on that about guarding your seed, not being out there, shooting up the club everywhere. Focus on yourself, not focusing on women, because once you become a certain type of man, they're going to find you, right? You don't have to use that as validation. If anything, this is the part of the red pill that people don't listen to because it's not sexy and it's not clickbaity. Focus on yourself, build yourself up, and don't seek validation from women, especially through sex and potential of raw sex in particular. I'm gonna stop playing, because shooting up the club, having kids everywhere, it's not helpful because it's a cost drain on yourself. Having kids all over the place and splitting up your time, it's a distraction from whatever your mission is in life. So that's the piece of it that doesn't get talked about because it's not clickbaity.
Sir, you completely ignored the fact that I said the ones who are already fathers.
The ones who are already fathers?
You just provided me examples of them talking to the ones who are not fathers yet. When you talk about seed control, focusing on yourself and so forth, I'm talking about where's the red pill conversation for those who are already fathers and not stepping up into their role. That's the part that I'm talking about. I'm confused as to why it's always blamed that single mother. And then when she tried to do better, choose better, it's a problem. But we're not talking about those fathers who created those children.
The conversations I've been a part of.
Those guys.
The guys left for
they're
a
not
reason.
trying to date those girls. I mean, those guys is what I meant to say.
Yeah, the conversations I've been in, nobody's bigging up deadbeat dads. Not at all.
But are they holding them accountable though?
Yeah, go take care of your kids.